Boss tries to make me to work overtime to paint the office, even offered to let my wife help. Sunday morning my wife and I were chilling playing some video games. I get a text from my boss. Keep in mind my wife also works in the same place. Also my job has absolutely nothing to do with painting. I work in tooling in a plastics factory. Just a heads up, tomorrow and Tuesday they are going to need help painting, so they are asking that if you could stay from 3:15 to 6, you can have the OT and help them paint before the owners come. If your wife wants to paint and get overtime as well, she can do that, so she's not just waiting around on you. I answered him, I don't really need the overtime, so no thanks. Then it turns from a request to being mandatory. I don't think it's an option. I'm just saying they're not going to ask you to leave early. They need help before owners come. Plan on tomorrow and Tuesday painting. Sorry, they don't ask very often. I never even replied to the last text. I gave my answer and that's that. I get to work yesterday and get asked in the morning about the painting after work by the plant manager. I reply that I will not be staying to paint. What about tomorrow and Wednesday? I will not be staying to paint at all this week. Can I ask why? Because I don't want to. Manager has no idea how to handle this. His face gets all red and you can tell he wants to yell at me. But he can't find a real reason to. Besides the fact that I said no to something that should not even have been asked of me. They waited until the last minute to try to get the shop clean and painted before the owners show up. You guys fucked around and found out. Deal with it. I had a boss that wanted me to work overtime to hanging drywall and mudding taping. Let me know it wasn't an option. Would be 12 hours on Saturday. My day off. I showed up. Was me and one of my coworkers. No boss in sight. Neither of us knew how to do drywall. He showed up 6 hours later. Mad as hell once he saw the quality of our work. Fuck him. Fuck him, he can paint. As a former soldier, this is hilarious. We just do whatever we are told. Once I entered the civilian world, it never occurred to me, and it still doesn't make sense to me, to just say no. This is hilarious, and I think what you did was fucking awesome. GIF Giphy 11 TBQNLYTB 25Q0 downsized. My old job made me do this cause the quote for painters was too high. I took my sweet time making sure I took 10x longer than it should and that they were paying me more than the painters. When my manager got pissed, it took so much longer and the cost was so much more than hiring painters. He asked what the problem was. Told him I wasn't a professional painter. Play stupid games. Win stupid prizes. So proud of you. Cheap, tight wad company needed to hire professionals to paint. SMH. Sure, I have a postgraduate degree in a really obscure discipline and work in the legal department. But I will paint your walls for overtime. And I will do the shittiest, most fucked up job you have ever seen. When you confront me about the quality of my work product, I will smile as I reply, this is why you don't hire a lawyer to do a painter's job. Nor vice versa. And I will never be asked to do manual labor again. My job adds needs of the business to every job, so they can't tell you to do anything, and if you refuse, it's insubordination. True slaves. I hate my life. Could have gotten as many painters from the temp agency as he needed instead of paying a machinist overtime. Not the sharpest bulb in the shed. It's always hilarious to me how the place gotta look super clean and fancy when the owners come for a visit to give them the delusion their shit's running like it's a perfect world. But the moment they leave you gotta open the storage closet and put every shit back because we here to make money, put everything out, efficiency KPIs. Like, dude, show the owners how you really gotta work for them. But no, middle management can't seem to appear useless. I was a maintenance manager of an industrial plant with 50 mechanics and electricians. I didn't see anything wrong with him offering you overtime, even if it wasn't in your job scope. Then I kept reading your post. He's fine to offer weird and odd jobs on overtime. You're free to turn it down. But the entire conversation should have stopped there. When he said it wasn't an option, I was like, yeah, fuck this guy. What a douche. Offered to let your wife help you paint? Is your boss Tom Sawyer? I'm not a painter. I won't paint because that is not my profession here. I will not help paint because it's not my job. You guys gotta do it. There might be pizza. Poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. Good lord. These bosses want to have their cake, eat it too, and sell it for a profit. Our plant ordered height-adjustable desks with a motor for everyone. Boss put up his in his office. Wanted us to come in on a Saturday for a few hours to take out the old desks, paint the room, set up the new desks, etc. Half of the hours would be paid. Half would be unpaid. Because it's to make our own space nice. Didn't want us to be able to get the new desks before we painted the office for half the time. Unpaid. We didn't budge and put up the desks during regular work hours. Office did not get painted. I would definitely stay and paint. You won't like the results. Oh, I'd throw up some drywall. Good luck finding the light switches and sockets though. Is 200 screws per sheet enough? My conversation about helping to renovate the office on my days off would go something like this. My rate is $75 per man-hour. Minimum 4 hours. Paid in cash. No complaints about how bad the job is. I'll be drunk so I'll need a cab in. Beer supplied to do the work and a cab home. This reminds me of the time I was asked to show up on my weekend off to help paint my manager's house. For free. They acted like we were family or something. No. Just because she is pregnant does not mean I will be painting her house for free. Or for money. Used to work in education. Got roped into helping paint the school foyer because the government bureaucracy wouldn't do it. Looking back, I think WTAF should never have used my personal time covering for those holes. And the height of my boss actually manipulating us to do it. If they want you paint, it has to be done during your normal work hours. I'm actually quite good at painting and paint prep. And sheetrock work. Sorry boss. Me painting would be a complete waste of my time and your money. You're going to be worlds better off hiring pros. Hanging rock. Mudding and taping? Nope. I've got a bum shoulder and I'm not about to be disabling myself further for a mere paycheck. I'd have told my boss if I could paint professionally or hang drywall. I'd be doing that and making better money than work this turd of a job. Ooh, sorry. I'm a disabled vet. Most U.S. veterans legally have some level of disability assigned to medical conditions discovered, caused during your service. Go ahead. Fire me for being disabled. GIF Giphy 9 Wexy Fiv 2 PYBQ. Why don't he hire IDK painters? Too cheap to hire painters, mad when employees don't want to do it. Sounds like the owners gave someone in charge a shit ton of money to paint the building and the person in charge pocketed the 6 months later. The owners give the person in charge a 4-day heads up. They're stopping by and the person in charge is shitting bricks thinking some dumbass logic like if it takes 1 hour to cook at 350, I'll just turn it to 450 and cook it for 30 minutes. I doubt you will see any blowback, and if you're fired, reach out to the owner's LMAO.